pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings that you've given us, Lord. Thank you for this country we live in and the freedoms that we enjoy. Lord, thank you for this community and the opportunity we have to serve this district. Please be with each and every board member here, where I pray for wisdom for us, that we would always act in the best interest of the kids and the staff. I ask in Jesus' name, amen.
We'll call this meeting of the Malt ISD School Board to order at 6:30 p.m. There is a quorum present, minus 2 board members, David Gibson and Rusty Bailey. An agenda was posted in a timely manner. First up, public comments. None. Communications.
None this month.
All right, next up, consent agenda. Help me out there.
Okay.
All right.
On the monthly financial, we're going to approve the current list that Tommy printed out versus what was in the board book. Would I get that? Did I take care of that one?
That work for
The
that
check
one?
register, yeah.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
check
check
register.
The printed check register you have in front of you, you're approving instead of the one in the board book.
Okay. So we have the minutes of the May 15th, 2025 regular meeting of the board, the monthly financial report with the printed check registry that's not in the board book, Region 8 Service Center for contract for 25-26, school district agreement with Smart Talk student drug testing and River Valley Tractor. Do we have a motion to approve? Yeah, I got you. I got you. We have a motion to approve items A through D, which excludes River Valley Tractor.
That we approve as presented.
I'll say.
Second by Terry, all in favor? Unanimous. We have a motion to approve item E, River Valley Tractor.
I'll make such a motion.
Motion by Terry. Second by Josh, all in favor? 4-4, 1 abstention. Item 6, update on 2023 Bond ISD bond improvements, new cafeteria and band hall, renovation project, and update on new driveway loop project, and OBR construction. Robert, you're up.
All right, well, it's good to see you again. Yeah, I did come up here to see your cherry faces and check on progress. Actually planning on hanging out because we're planning on concrete pour in the morning, but got a little delay on some anchor bolts, but they're here, they're getting them installed. So probably by Monday, that's the plan, mid-morning Monday, your sub-foundation should be complete. Anchor bolts in, grade beams in, footings in, ready to go. They'll probably do termite treatment late Tuesday, start laying poly on Wednesday, and Keith really wants to try to get the slab done Friday. As long as he can get concrete and get the finishers out here, you guys should have a slab by the end of next week, if not first the following week. Structural steel's on target to be here about the second week of July, so you'll see this thing coming out of the ground pretty soon. Everything seems to be on track. Rain has been a little bit sketchy up here. It's up every time he gets a hole dug, get a little afternoon toad strangler and it fills up the holes. But they're doing a great job. They're managing things well, and so far we're on schedule. We've had a couple small hiccups, nothing major. I think there's item for you to consider tonight for some contingency funding, but all in all, it's gone really smooth. A lot of good communication. We talk to Keith usually several times a day. We've got a guy here at least once a week, sometimes a couple times a week. So that, coupled with WRA having a rep here, constant communication, our regular meetings, everybody seems to be working as a pretty solid unit, so I feel good about where we're headed. Had a meeting with Mr. Fannin, thought maybe it'd be appropriate to take a step back, let him knock some cobwebs off of some of the ideas he had a long time ago. And we walked the cafeteria, we walked the existing band hall, took a look at the plans and went through the different areas that were originally designed. Couple tweaks, I think, that add some efficiencies to the building, as well as maybe add a little more square footage to his space for the kids. There was a classroom in there set aside for elementary music, but you guys have already made a move administratively to keep music in the elementary. And so one of our thoughts was, well, maybe, band always, doesn't matter how big the band is, it's always nice to have a couple of ensemble rooms where small groups can go practice, maybe even percussion or winds or something like that. And so we're looking at how we might make those spaces multifunctional, give him good storage for his equipment. I don't know if you guys have been through the band hall recently, but a good chunk of the floor is taken up with instruments. The new space is obviously going to give a lot more room. We also talked about restrooms. We even took it down. You guys might remember getting kids from the elementary to the new cafeteria through the band hall. Not ideal, but it mitigates weather exposure on those days when it's a challenge. So we're looking at different ways to maybe even create a canopy structure that might keep those kids out of the band hall and get them directly to the cafeteria. So good things in the works. We're going to work with WRA to tweak the plans. My team's already going through the plans to look at the numbers to make sure we're where we need to be. I feel pretty confident, and I think even the numbers that IDEO gave you originally had that project pretty close to where it needed to be, but the cafeteria project just pushed everything off the radar. So we're going to make sure everything's tight before we bring it back to you with a recommendation. The road, I don't know if Doc has shared it with you, but we've sort of shrunk it in a little closer to the building, made it a little more efficient, cut out about
half.
Yeah, almost cut it in half, which is going to help budget-wise, and might even give you guys some extra funds to address some additional parking you might need. But Dr. Seegers and I were just talking through it. It just helps to keep chewing on this because everybody's used to doing things the way they're doing it now. When you try to redirect them, it causes a bit of a stir. But I know the goal is to get the vehicles out of the core of the campus and keep them, outside the fenced area, sort of make it where it's a little safer, a little more secure. The new condensed drawing does that. We're trying to be mindful of where I think there's been some cussing and discussing about maybe someday, perhaps a new high school out behind the current facility. But you've got a lot of real estate to play with. And so tweaking a practice field here, maybe using the spot over here, being mindful of that flood zone area. We're kind of taking that all into consideration to make sure once we put concrete on the ground, it's going to serve you guys for years to come. The way it's designed now, you could almost envision a new campus behind it, and that becomes your new long entry drive into your campus and gets everybody off the street and sort of gives that new campus a facade. So we just want to make sure we've got good queuing, getting folks off the highway, but also try to be mindful of the parents that are blessed to have kids in secondary and elementary. We don't want to have to make multiple loops to try to get the rugrats off the campus, but feel good about the condensed design. I think it brings the money back to you guys because I know that's probably coming mostly out of your fund balance. So we want to hit that as little as we can. But all in all, things are looking really well. So each month we'll come back to you with better news. Would like to maybe wrap things up and have a design ready for you to consider. Obviously, there's not a big rush on the band hall. Can't do anything until this building's done over here. So we're going to just make sure we've got all our I's dotted and T's crossed before we put it out there for pricing. Because it doesn't do any good to get pricing if they can't start for another year. So I think there's a couple items for consideration. I'm happy to answer questions when we get that. But any questions so far on progress?
What? Since we're less than 6 weeks from school starting, which is crazy, how are they about this laydown spot right here that we got blocked off? Are they gonna have
All
it?
that's going to be moved.
I can speak to that if you.
Okay.
I talked to him, talked to Keith, I think last night. They're supposed to drop off the steel on July 14th, and he's wanting to leave that there for laydown so he can actually not tear up everywhere else. He's expected to tear out right after they deliver, put all the electrical, plumbing, everything in, re-pour, and have access back to that drive for driving by August 1.
Okay.
I said, if you can give me August 1, we don't have kids up here yet. I said, I'll have staff, but it'll just be staff. They can make the extra bump in there. I said, but I've got to have that before kids come back.
Yeah.
So August 1, we're supposed to have that drive poured back up and open for our use.
That was original plans.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, they've been pretty spot on with their stuff. We've had to slide a few things, like Robert said, because of rain. But they're staying pretty close to schedule.
Yeah, steel shows up like it's supposed to, though. That thing will go up really quickly, and that'll allow them to get all the work they need to do underground back there and get the concrete back before August.
You have to go good on that piece. I'm gonna let, just hang around, because there's a couple pieces you might need some experience on right here.
All right. Item 7, considering possible approval of monthly expenditures to Rec Tech LLC for work submitted on the new ISD cafeteria.
Okay, so that has been sent to the architects. They've signed off on it. Robert's looked at it as well. Recommendation, pay it.
Pay it.
And so combined, I didn't have it on that piece there, but that's the combined amount of the two.
$422,769.85. And that's for what we got going on right now?
That's for that. Now that took into, remember when they drilled under the road last month, all those pieces there, all that extra boring they had to do. There was a couple times where they had to pump twice, I think, to reset the piers out there. That was a small expense. That
That was a little bit, yeah.
That wasn't a big piece, but going under the road was, I'm assuming that's our biggest expense from last month.
Well, over excavation, backfill, getting the foundation pad ready was a big thing. All the reinforcing steel, concrete they placed today. They've done a lot of underground plumbing, a lot of underground electrical, all that's included.
They didn't recharge us for their screw up and having to re-dig it up over there?
That falls in not our problem category.
Making sure.
I like it.
Yeah, because they had to dig it up twice, if y'all noticed.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the monthly expenditures of $422,769.85 to Rec Tech LLC for work for the new cafeteria?
Make a motion.
Motion by Terry,
Second.
second by Melford. All in favor? It's unanimous. All right, next up, item 8, considering a possible approval of contract with Multi Vista Documentation Technologies LLC to archive and document construction activities of the Maud ISD new cafeteria.
Okay, board, one of the things that I guess it started back with Dr. Bradshaw. All of our old architectural drawings went from paper, they went back to WRA, they scanned them all in, so we have digital copies of those, but we still don't know what's happened in the walls in the last 30 to 40 years in a lot of our buildings. And so one of the things that Robert brought to me, and the only one that's seen this so far is Miss Holly, and this is basically there's a lot of pictures being taken right now, every phase of this project. You know, WRA is taking pictures, OBR is taking pictures, ETTL is taking pictures, and it's all getting uploaded into a project piece there. What this does is archive it forever for us on top of the blueprints. I'm gonna let you talk just a minute, because you're gonna say it a lot better than I will, and I'll say something really stupid. You're gonna
This
like,
is,
that's
you
not
know,
it."
this technology has evolved probably over the last 10 to 12 years, and initially we fought it because we take a ton of pictures. Keith's taking pictures every day. But what the technology is, these guys come out at every critical stage of the project. They've already come out now, and they create a GPS of your building, okay? And so as the building comes out of the ground, every component of that building is tied to a GPS. And so when the slab is ready to be poured, from that to completion, they're gonna give you basically a 3D image of that project coming out of the ground tied to the plans. So you can go to a plan sheet in the plumbing drawings, to a room, to a wall, and click on an icon, and it shows you what was behind that wall before they put the second side of chip on that wall. You'll see how all the plumbing's done, how all the electrical's laid, how all the mechanical equipment's in there, and it's tied to an interactive map. So, you know, docs, you're probably gonna be around another 20 years or so, but at some point, somebody's gonna step into your chairs, and there's gonna be an issue over there, and you're and say, what happened here? Can we do this? Can we do that? Let's go look at the drawings. Let's go look at the electrical room and how all that stuff came in. Did they leave us blanks? How many number twos are pulled in? How many mains are pulled? And you can go to the progress of that specific space from the time it was dirt to the time the room was finished. It's become an invaluable tool over the last 10 years for us, particularly when we get a call 5 years down the road after a project's complete and the maintenance director's going, hey, I got a water leak over here and I don't know why there's a water line there. Well, I'll tell you why there's a water line there. Because it feeds the water fountain on the other side. It's tied into this. And there's a shutoff valve in the second ceiling tile up above you that you can reach up and close that shutoff valve on. It's a pretty cool, I'm not saying it's belt and suspenders, but it's a good database tied back to your as-built drawings that I think you guys will maybe never need it. Boy, when you do need it, it's nice to have it. And it's a nominal fee for those guys to come out over the next 500 days to build that database for you for this temperature run project. I think it's a good investment.
What's a nominal fee?
$12,500.
Is that a one-time or is there a subscription?
It's one.
And then they'll actually build in pieces over the next year as we go through the project. We get to see it any time. We can say, hey, but we're doing it right now on probably 5 projects. One is a 210,000 square foot junior high, 2-story junior high, and the data that we get, they're out there almost weekly on that project. It's moving so fast. And that data is going to be an enormous asset for the school district down the road, particularly when you think about that being mechanical systems, that much plumbing, everything else.
Where's the data stored? Is it on our server? Do we have something?
It's cloud-based, so you'll have access to it all the time. That's another problem that early on, it kind of required you guys to have a computer to store some of that data on. Now, it's a cloud-based service, and so where do we put that flash drive? Where do we put the as-bills? Oh, well, so-and-so had them in the closet at one time. It's no longer an issue. I've still got as-bills on CDs. Try to find a computer that has a CD-ROM on it anymore. This is fully digital, cloud-based, and I think it's a good way to store your data.
So if they go out of business 10 years from now, we still got
You
ours.
still got the data. You just download it and you got it. That's what we're doing for our projects that we have. We're downloading that data on our system, so we've kind of got a backup system. We'll do the same thing for you guys.
I quit it like when I buy a 4-wheel drive for a truck. I hope I never use it, but it's really nice when it's there.
Any questions? Josh, you good?
Trying to put my head in the bank's worth a buck. I mean, I get it, it'd be nice, but if you call somebody here to fix something and there's a drawing of what they built, schematic, that's how you find, what's what, where, but I get it. He was talking about a 2-story building, we're just building a cafeteria.
Well, I think that's too is, and help me if I'm wrong, it's if it is put in exactly like it is, or if they at the last minute, because they ran into a problem and they took this water line and ran it this way, or this electrical line and ran it, still all works, it's just in a different location. That's really, I think, that's the beauty
it
of it.
helps, heaven forbid there's a claim. I mean, over the years, we've been involved retroactively on an issue with a district that something's not working right, something's not operating right. We've got our photos. I took 15 photos out there, and you wouldn't think there's 15 photos worth taking out there right now. It's just kind of dirt with some underground plumbing out there. But when you think about the complexity of any project, a house for that matter, the data that you got going in here, the AD equipment that you got going in, fire alarm, mechanical systems, electrical, plumbing, everything associated with that, kitchen equipment, fire suppression, having that record of those systems, if there is an issue. We had an issue in Kennedale. Somebody reported water pouring out of the school. Short story long, the fire riser that came into the building, they used ductile iron and they didn't wrap it. And it took about 20 years for a baseball-sized hole to finally erode and explode in that line. It was enough to lift up the slab in the office area. And when I looked at it, I said, that's impossible. There's no way it lifted up the slab. It's 80 pounds of pressure. It can't do that. I said, that tells me that they didn't have dowels in the slab when they, well, there's no as-bills for it. There's no photos. There's nothing for that building. It wasn't until we demoed the slab we realized there's no dowels holding the slab to the actual piers. It wasn't until we excavated we realized they used a ductile riser instead of a stainless riser. One of the things I looked at today, you've got your stainless risers out there. It's that kind of thing that retroactively, hopefully, we have everything in place to protect you guys, but down the road, being able to go back specifically to a room, to a area in the building, to a wall, to a portion of the ceiling, and look at that actual record could pay dividends in the event that there was an issue like that. So it may seem like an overburden. I looked at it when they gave me the price, I was stunned. I really thought a dozen or more trips out here over the course of the next year. They're coming out of Dallas. I don't know how they're making money. It seemed like a no-brainer to me, but I know you guys are budget conscious, so whatever you decide.
So how long did you say to take from them taking the pictures to putting it in a portfolio?
It goes like that. As a matter of fact,
You know what I'm saying.
we can send you a link. Doc asked me if I wanted to share with you what we've gotten so far. It's not really sexy. I mean, they literally took pictures of the highway, the sides that they got, not just the building, but everything around the building, and they focused on the earthwork that was going on. They'll be back to get pictures of all of the work around the formwork, the reinforcement, the poly, everything else. And as it comes out of the ground, we'll get structural steel, we'll get framing, we'll get drywall, we'll get rough ends, we'll get all of that. And you can have a link to it. You literally just go to it, click it, you can see your building come alive.
But
It's-
somebody can monitor those as it goes to make sure nothing was missed, no shortcuts.
Oh, yeah, we're all
That's
looking
what
at
they're
it.
doing right now, yeah.
We're all
They're
looking
pouring
at it.
over those every time there's an upload.
I was a little off on it at first, but then I really got to thinking, it's $1.25 a foot. I wish somebody would have offered me $1.25 a foot to do that to my personal house when I
You
built
and
it.
me both. And I was there every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll remember where that's at. I ain't got a clue.
I was thinking the same thing, but yeah.
So I was after I'd come to that realization, it was like $1.25 a foot on a $500 a foot building. I'm in.
I think it's a good investment.
Tim, you good?
We hired him to tell us what we need.
There you go. All
You
right.
answered my questions.
We have a motion to approve the contract with Multi Vista Documentation Technologies LLC to archive and document the construction activities of the Mall ISD Cafetorium for the amount of $12,500.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Terry,
Second.
second by Melford. All in favor? Unanimous. Consider impossible approval for the superintendent to approve change orders in the construction of the new cafetorium.
Okay, board, this is one thing that we talked about a little bit, probably back in, about the time we approved the contract with Rogers. But we didn't have any formal action at that time. But this is, in looking ahead, we'll have some little change orders that are gonna come up in this thing along the way. Being able to give me the opportunity to go ahead and approve those change orders in conjunction with Robert. Cause I'll be honest with you, I lean on him every time. Is this reasonable? Does this make sense? Be able to approve those up to an aggregate of 100,000. Anything over 100,000, we have to come back to the board for any other approvals over that. Just to keep this project moving quickly and not getting bogged down and having to pull everyone back in for something. Now, if it's a major issue, Lord forbid something like that happen, we'd obviously come back together, have a special call board meeting and bring something back to the board. But I do feel like with the planning that's going, the communication that's going with all the parties. I don't anticipate anything like that. Like I said, I've been really pleased with the way we're progressing. But it just allows us to make some change orders along the way that could keep us from bogging down and keep us on track.
You said it was how much?
Up to 100,000 total.
Aggregate, total,
Aggregate,
okay. All right,
yeah.
that's
So
what I
it's
missed.
not 100,000 each time.
I was gonna say.
It's, you know,
All right, yeah.
$7,000, $10,000, $500, whatever.
Okay.
You know, up to a grand total of $100,000.
And I guess somebody's keeping up with change orders as we get.
Yes, sir. It's every one of them documented.
Yeah, and we'll bring a summary log of all the changes, if any, as we go through the project each month, so you see where we're at. And obviously, you know, Doc's got to work within his spending limit anyway, so if we get something really nasty, then we'll bring it back to you guys. But if we run into whatever it is, they're cutting over here, they take it out, and we realize there's a water line that's got to be moved, and that's going to cost $1,800. It's within a spending limit, but we don't have any extra money. It requires a change order to the contract. And so this basically gives us an owner betterment allowance that Doc can manage. If we have an issue above the spending limit, then we'll have to come back to you guys, obviously. But we will report back to you each month and show you, here's $100,000, here's how much we, if any, we've tapped to cover these items with the description. We can talk through those. But usually when we go into a project like this, and you had it was in the GMP that was proposed by Ideal. There was an owner betterment and a contractor betterment as part of that GMP. When you put it out for CSPs, I asked WRA to do it. They didn't do it for some reason, but I said, go ahead and include that everybody will include a $100,000 owner betterment allowance. That just keeps the project rolling. But obviously, we're still accountable to you guys to show you where that money goes, and that's what we'll do each month as things evolve.
Any questions? Do we have a motion to give the superintendent the authority to approve change orders in the construction of the new cafeteria up to $100,000 aggregate?
Make that motion.
Motion by Melford, second by Tim. All in favor?
So now you get your ice bath and sauna.
Sir? Absolutely, absolutely. Robert, I appreciate you. Be safe traveling.
Thanks, guys. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
All right, up next, item 10, consider and possible approval of staff computer purchases to Dell Technologies.
All right, Mark started on these a couple of years ago. I believe last year we had another computer upgrade. This is bringing in another 30 for our teachers. I'm not 100%, but I think most of these are going like elementary, middle school range teachers. And so the one change in this is Brandon has brought in laptops so that teachers can actually work on those laptops and take them home as well and do their work at the house.
So docking station.
Docking station, all that, yes, sir. So that's where you see the 30 bases and the 30 the hub monitors. That's what you see there. And so, but anyway, but it is addition to the $25,000 spending limit. We're at $31,908. Let me get that a little closer, RJ. Yeah, $31,908 for the total purchase there, which is gets us continuing to keep our technology up to date and put those things in our teachers' hands so they can use them.
Laptop's a great idea.
Yeah, and the region age, where they're going, is requiring them to bring laptops now. So a lot of them either they don't have one, or they're having to borrow one, or take their one from the house, so.
Or you work from home and
Yeah.
go on just to work and do it.
And it gets them, the Chromebook doesn't have quite the functions that a laptop has. And so where they were using Chromebooks, this gives them a lot more functions. It supports their Excel better, it supports those pieces, so it just gives them more functionality.
How close does that get us to completion?
Tim? I think we're pretty close with this one because, we had one last year, we had a little bit with Mark. And so, Tommy, is your memory? I think this gets us really close with our teachers. And so, I could be wrong on the building, so don't I'll tell the teachers that they're good. But I'm pretty sure that was the direction of it. But I think last year we decided to do it in 2 bites rather than 1 bite, and this brings us there.
Anything? Josh, you good? All right, do we have a motion to approve the staff computer purchase to Dell Technologies in the amount of $31,908? Motion by Josh,
I'll second.
second by Terry. All in favor? Next up, superintendent's report.
All right, Coach Turner.
Alright. It's been a while since I've given you a report, so I don't know if most of y'all know this information, but it's here anyway. So we've had a great turnout at our SWAT, both boys and girls. We've had 50 plus most days. Last week was a little light because First Baptist Church took like 60 kids to church camp, so that kind of hit us a little bit. But that's a good thing for them to go do. So I'll go with that. All kinds of summer leagues going on right now. The girls are in basketball, about to start some softball. They do volleyball in July. Boys are in 7-on-7 until the middle of July. They're in basketball at Bowie and baseball for the first time in several years. Matter of fact, they're playing tonight right now. Seeing some great gains in the weight rooms and speed. Really excited. Tim Carr's been working with us on the performance side, which has really been a big asset for us, kind of bringing in some new ideas and helping us out with some stuff. So even though he's not here full time yet, he's really met with our girl staff for sure, and then me and him have talked about some stuff and implementing some things. It's really been good. We've got our softball all district there. Kiera Monomog was defensive player of the year. Allie Carroll's first team VP. Tori Lowell's second team infield. Abby Braley, Bailey Branham, Jackson Dumont, Jaden English, Brooke Allison, Audrey Hillis, Rachel Lloyd, Mason Sanders, and Riley Lawley's were all honorable mention. Our baseball all district, Brock Wyndham was the district catcher of the year. Ty Aldridge was first team infield. Adrian Banaus was first team outfield. Riker Bailey was second team utility player. Reese Bailey was second team outfield. Andrew Roberts, Brady Allison, and Kaiser McKelvey were all honorable mention. And Brock was actually third team all-state catcher, which was a pretty cool deal from the Texas High School Baseball Coach Association. So pretty good deal. Gym floors got waxed today. So the gyms are kind of out of commission for this weekend, but they seem like they did a good job. Smells like it at least. Kind of kicked me out of my office there for a little while. But other than that, new locker rooms. I say new. We revamped our locker rooms. We took our boys were sharing 7 through 12. We're sharing one locker room. Obviously, they all had different lockers or whatever. There was some times where we would have to hold maybe the junior high kids in the stands while the high school boys would, because we didn't really want 7 through 12 boys dressing together. So we would hold them until the high school boys got out, or we would hold the high school boys in the film room or whatever. Well, anyway, we took the lockers, the stand-up lockers that the junior high had, and we moved them into what was the visiting locker room on the other side of the gym. And that is going to be the new junior high boys locker room. Now we will no longer have to worry so much about kids being in and out. Also, it opened up the space in our locker room. We now no longer have any rows in the main locker room. It's just one big, there's lockers all the way around the wall, and it's one big open area, which cuts down on, it'll help out with our cleaning, and I also think it'll help out with some supervision, because you can see a lot better through there. And I just think it's going to make it a lot better, a lot more open space, and use that. So we're kind of excited about that. And that was Cole Steinhoff is the guy that kind of did that. He really did a really good job on it as well. I mean, if you look at it, you can't, obviously you had to cut some rivets and stuff like that, but you really can't tell because he did such a good job on it. So we're really excited about that.
They're cleaning the gym right now.
They're cleaning the gym with Redbird is. Matter of fact, I didn't know they were cleaning the weight room. They did it like Tuesday, and me and Colby Carr both walked in and were like, weight room looks a little different. Oh, it's because there's not near as much dust and stuff in there. They did a really good job on that, and they're going through there and piecing that together. So lots of stuff going on. I was talking to an AD the other day. I said, man, the summer is becoming the spring now with the amount of stuff going on for our kids and all that kind of stuff. So, and we were really happy. Of course, Tim knows a little bit about this because he's got a boy playing. We're really happy to have the high school eligible baseball join back up again. As you know, our baseball season didn't go quite as planned this past year, and we needed to get some extra reps. So I think that's going to be good, and it's going to be something that we can build on and kind of do for a while now that we kind of got it started. Coach Forger was headed down to Chapel Hill today to watch and check those guys out. So really pretty good. Like anything?
Glad you joined us. You got 45 more minutes to cover.
Oh no! Oh no!
Appreciate you, Coach. All right, board. Just want to let you know, we had our cafeteria procurement review this year. The letter from the TDA is in the board book. Basically, we had a $3.23 difference in the action pieces there, and all in all, a really good review for the program. So I do want to say, hey, I appreciate Ms. Debbie, everything she did to set Brandy up and prepare her for this, and Brandy did a really good job for her first audit. So that's always good when we can put that one to bed. And that's one of those funds, and when they review it, it's like, holy cow, you're talking about ounces of potatoes, but they're not playing.
I'm not playing about taking your money neither. No, they will take your money quick. And so I was really pleased with the outcome of that piece right there. Our surplus from our auction, we were just a little bit north of 17,000, 17,467, Tommy, sound right?
I think that's right.
So,
Looking down.
So
17,467.
made a little bit of money off that. Still waiting on our stove to get picked up, and MD1, they haven't showed up yet. So,
But we do have the funds.
but yeah, we've got our money.
For the one that's sitting over here?
MD1, it's the one at Tyndall's place. They had to cut the trees to get it out. And so that one's over there. Then the stove, we put it out behind the school. And, the money's in hand, so I want him to be able to get his stove, but I need to be able to wax floors too. So I hope he picks it up.
It's out there.
If he doesn't pick it up soon, we're gonna put it in Cookie Shop. We're gonna sell it again. so anyway, all in all, they're probably past the pickup time by now. I'm thinking, Tony, what do you think?
Probably, they usually only got
It's only
15 days.
like it's very short. So,
Yeah.
preliminary EOC results. There's nothing here as far as accountability, but there had two reports in board book. One was preliminary star, which is the approaches level there. If you look at that this year compared to last year, we went down 2 points. But if you look at the meets one, which is the one right below it, we actually as a district increased a point. And so we went down a little bit in some areas, we increased in other areas. But I do want to take just a minute. I want to highlight Ms. Frost's group there. Because if you remember, she inherited a pretty rough situation. And that group of kiddos, they did make some remarkable improvements. And so as a group, it was still a challenge, but at the same time, I was real pleased with the progress that she put in with that group there. So hate to lose her as an educator, but again, she's a stud duck for a reason. So. We'll have the full report for you in August when they give us they actually do the accountability pieces there. And so, board, I'll be honest with you, looking at that plus minus yin yang, we did have to put all of our special ed kids into the testing this year. We've been able to, in years past, we didn't have them all in the state testing. There were some in the alt testing, but this year they had to come in to get us compliant. So those one or two could make a difference between an A and a B. I don't know, but that is what it is there. Now, we are looking at some funding issues as well for our cafeteria program, looking at some of our homeless students that are in the district as well. The right identification there can help us substantially down the road too. So for those of you that have been on the board for a little bit, the higher your eco-dis rate, the lower your performance has to be to still have that A. And so it's all kind of a piece there. So we are working on those things, trying to help our families as much as possible, but at the same time, it will also have some other benefits as well that may help us in the accountability on the road. So we are currently working on that piece.
So the state results are out, Star.
Yes, well, yeah,
Overall,
state,
for
yeah,
overall.
they'll give accountability for the state, but, they won't give out district results till August. We'll get that preliminary report somewhere like August 1, somewhere in there, that they'll make it public August 17th. Usually what they do,
They lost me on all those graphs and charts.
So-
they had out there.
so, but anyway, that is, we're not gonna have a substantial swing, which I've been real pleased with both our principals, but, anytime you have two changes like that, you always worry, is there gonna be a substantial swing one way or the other? And, I think both of them did a great job keeping their campuses held together, and to have that level of stability, I think says a lot for our campus leadership, but also for all our educators that are taking care of all our kids every day.
Up next, executive session. Discussion of personnel and resignation from employees per Texas Government Code Section 551.074. We'll go into executive session at 7:11 p.m.
Okay.
All right, we'll return to regular session at 8:17 p.m. Next up on the agenda is accept resignation from employees. Do I have a motion to accept the resignation of Casey Blackburn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Terry. Second by Melford. All in favor? Next up, adjourn. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I got that one.
Motion by Josh, second by Melford. All in favor? Thank you.